Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the science behind a question that, let's be honest, drives pretty much everything we do. How can you live a happier, more content life? We're going to explore how you can actually, literally, build a happier brain. So, let's just start with a really big idea, a huge question. What if our whole approach to finding happiness has been, well, wrong? What if it's not some treasure you find at the end of a long journey, but a skill you can learn, practice, and get better at every single day? You know the drill. Most of us spend a massive part of our lives chasing happiness, living by this idea of, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or when I have more money, or when I find the perfect partner. We always think it's just around the next corner. But, the science actually defines happiness as something totally different. And the key word here is subjective. It's an internal state of mind, not some external thing you achieve. That means it's something generated from the inside, not found on the outside. So here's the crucial shift in perspective. It's moving away from waiting for your circumstances to be perfect. It's about making a choice. It's deciding, you know what? I'm going to be happy no matter what, and taking back control. Okay, let's dive into the really cool part, because this is way more than just a mindset trick or some philosophical idea. It turns out you can physically see the effects of happiness right inside your brain. It's real. That's right. When you're in a more joyful or grateful state, specific parts of your brain literally change their activity levels. Neuroscientists can hook you up to a scanner and see these areas become more or less active, which shows that happiness has a real, measurable impact on your biology. And just look at how powerful that impact is. When you're happier, your prefrontal cortex, that's your logic and decision-making center, it just works better. Your amygdala, which is basically the brain's alarm system for fear and anxiety, it quiets right down. And the striatum, the part that handles reward and motivation, it gets a boost. So being happier literally makes you a smarter decision maker, less fearful, and more motivated to go after your goals. How cool is that? Now, let's see how this internal brain state connects with the world outside of us, specifically with other people. Because this, it turns out, is one of the most critical pieces of the entire happiness puzzle. To figure out what really makes people happy, Harvard University did something pretty incredible. They started one of the longest studies on human life ever, following people for over 80 years. They tracked everything, their health, their jobs, their relationships, all to answer that one single question. And after all that time, after studying thousands and thousands of lives, the answer was just overwhelmingly clear. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't fame or career success. The single biggest predictor of our long-term happiness and well-being is the quality of our relationships. And the details here are really important. It's not about having 500 friends on social media. It's about having a few people you can truly, deeply trust and rely on. These connections act like a biological shield against stress. When we feel supported, our bodies actually produce less of the stress hormone cortisol, which protects both our mental and our physical health. It's even linked to living a longer life. Okay, so if happiness is a skill and we know what the big ingredients are, the next logical question is, how do we actually practice it? Well, thankfully, the research points to a really clear, actionable toolkit that honestly anyone can use. So, to understand how to practice this, you first need to know about a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, or the RAS for short. The easiest way to think of it is like a bouncer at the door of a club. It's a network of neurons that filters all the information coming at you, and it decides what's important enough to get your conscious attention. And here's the amazing part. You get to tell that bouncer what to look for. You're the one giving the instructions. If you tell it to focus on all the daily hassles, all the annoyances, and the problems, guess what? That's exactly what your brain will notice all day long. But if you tell it to look for things to be grateful for, your brain will start actively searching for and finding more reasons to be happy. This whole idea leads us to a simple but incredibly powerful 3-step plan. Step 1, you actively practice gratitude to train that bouncer. Step 2, you deliberately put energy into cultivating those positive relationships we just talked about. And step 3, you try mindfulness to quiet all the noise in your head. Now, the easiest way to get started with step 1 is a gratitude journal. First thing in the morning, before you even check your phone, just write down 3 things you're grateful for. And they don't have to be huge things. It could be the sun is shining, your coffee tastes great, or a nice text from a friend. This simple little act sets the tone and the focus for your entire day. And for step 3, just a few minutes of mindfulness a day can be a total game changer. It helps you turn off that constant monkey mind, that inner voice that's always worrying about the future or replaying the past. It's been proven again and again to reduce anxiety and stress just by bringing your attention back to right here, right now. So let's bring all this together for the final and I think the most powerful takeaway from all this science. This is really the core message of everything we've looked at. Happiness isn't a lottery you win or some treasure you find. It's more like a garden that you have to tend to. It's a state of mind that you can choose to cultivate, but it takes deliberate, consistent effort. Think about it. External things like wealth, status, and success, they might contribute, but they do not guarantee happiness. We all know stories of incredibly famous and successful people who are miserable. It's your internal state that matters most, and that is something you always have some control over. So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. Since happiness is a skill you build, not something you find, what is one small thing you're going to do today to start practicing? Because the work of building a happier life, well, that can start right now.